Hi, kids. Okay, let's talk about Stanley Kubrick's second feature film, Killer's Kiss. His first one, Fear and Desire, wasn't able to turn a profit. So he did one more documentary short for hire. This one in color. So it's the first thing he's done in color. The Seafarers, about the lives of men on American cargo ships. So he does that off of the strength of that, the reception from that, he's able to gain private funding to make another feature. This time, $75,000. So Kubrick, once again, is just trying to gain the experience to become a good filmmaker. So he takes the path of least resistance. He and his friend Howard Sackler, who also helped him write the screenplay for Fear and Desire, they team up and they write a story based around what they can film, locations they can film in that will be cost effective. Um, they're not really concerned with the story. Even later on, Kubrick would say that he found the story silly. The story is a boxer, a dame, and a gangster. So if this is a film noir, I'm not sure if I said that. Frank Silvera, who was in Fear and Desire, was pretty much the only experienced actor in that film, in that whole production. Finds himself again the only experienced person in the production. He plays the crime boss, Vincent Rapallo, so he gets top billing because why not? The dame is played by Irene Greengard. She was a Vogue model, tries her hand in acting. Later on, she would become a journalist. She'd be employed by CNN. She would use her married name. This she's credited as Irene Kane. Later on, when she's a journalist, her name is Chris Chase. So, um, anyways, so in an effort to learn from the mistakes of Fear and Desire, Kubrick opted to record sound on set. So in his documentary shorts that he made, he just did ADR, additional dialogue recording, things like that. Put all the sounds in post production. It was more cost effective that way. That's why he did that. But in a feature film, because it's more labor intensive for a feature, all the additional sounds, dialogue, and that you need, it's more cost effective. So he found that out the hard way with Fear and Desire because post production cost more money than he was anticipating. So for Killer's Kiss, he decides, well, we're going to record audio on set. Not going to spend all that money on that this time. But um, because this is black and white, because this is a film noir, because he's still somewhat inexperienced as a filmmaker, very experienced as a photographer. Um, he's not able to set up, he doesn't know how, because he's doing everything himself. He's not able to set up the shots the way he wants without the equipment, the boom getting in the way. So he just decides and records the film again without on-set sound, um, putting them all in afterwards again. So money was very tight during the production. I think Friday nights, Kubrick would shut down production so he could go collect his unemployment check. So he shut production down early, go get his check, and he was unable to pay for an editing assistant for all the editing work, which meant that he had to do that all himself too, painstakingly editing in every little sign. Um, and yeah, there's this is the 50s. It's noir. There's Freudian themes heavily present in a lot of media at the time. Killer's Kiss is no different. Um, the way he frames the things, right? So Characters are always there's some great shots. The main character, he's feeding his fish. So there's a shot where he's framed by the fish bowl. There's a great shot where he is in his apartment with the lights off. The dame lives in the same building, but sort of across from him. Um, so her window is across from his window. He's sitting in his window, the lights off. She's in her room, the lights on. Um, so first the shot is just his back, and then you see his reflection in the window, and then her through her window, and then the phone rings, and he goes back, and he answers the phone, and then there's a shot of him from this angle, his back in the mirror, and in the mirror you can see the reflection of her framed in the mirror through the windows. It's just, yeah, he's framing things great. So the quality definitely has jumped up from Fear and Desire to Killer's Kiss, as far as Kubrick finding his footing, setting up shots, how he wants to sort of dramatically, visually tell a story. But the script isn't the greatest. It's still better. The acting isn't the greatest. It's still better. There's a sequence of uh, the girls explaining how she ended up in this situation. She talks about her sister who was a dancer. So there's this long sequence of this ballet dancer dancing on the stage, which is great. But that's Kubrick's wife at the time. He just had to get her into film. And Kubrick himself just considered this film just a step above Fear and Desire. But there's boxing scenes too, which he did a photo story on boxer Walter Cartier. And then he did a short film based on that. So he had some experience shooting in around a boxing ring. It is something that Martin Scorsese looks at when he is making Raging Bull, how you can shoot inside the ring. So you should, if you haven't seen Killer's Kiss, go look at it just for the early boxing scenes. See how similar they are to some of those scenes in Raging Bull. If you haven't seen Raging Bull, go watch that too. And anyways, I've rambled on enough about Killer's Kiss, Kubrick's second film. Thank you for watching. Come back tomorrow with his third film. Like, subscribe.